Welcome to another episode of AUHSD Future Talks. I'm your host, Michael Matsuda, the Superintendent of the Anaheim Union High School District. And as the name implies, this is all about the future of work, the future of jobs and careers for our 30,000 students. Today's guest is someone who shares in making sure that students have a positive future and a pathway to jobs and careers, as well as college. It's Joshua Bilbrew, the director of Gear Up at Cal State University, Fullerton. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So right off the bat, and I'm sure you get questions about Gear Up. What does Gear Up stand for?
Gear Up stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. I'd rather just call it Gear Up, right?
Me too.
So we usually start the shows with kind of like, who are you, Joshua, and what are your drivers? Because you're dedicating your life and you're putting all your energy into these young people. So tell us a little bit about who you are and why.
Sure. My name is Joshua. I'm director of Gear Up. I've been in California for just about 6 years now. Prior to that, born and raised, grew up, went to school in Portland, Oregon, low-income family. I come from a first-generation college student, first in my family to go to college. And for me, when you talk about drivers, for me, that really goes back to some key pivotal moments for me in high school, in particular. Where if it were not for some just the luck of the draw in being in the right classrooms with the right educators who were relentless in their encouragement, in their pestering and badgering and letting me know about different opportunities that were out there, following up with me to make sure I was taking advantage of those opportunities, I wouldn't be here where I am right now. And so I know the power that educators have to be that kind of fork in the road for students, because I absolutely could have gone either way. As a single teacher, I can trace it back to Ms. Calvert, that math teacher. If I had been in a different class, I don't know that I would have graduated from high school. I don't know that I would have gone to college, and I certainly don't imagine that I'd be here talking to you from this position, these experiences that I've been able to get from those early pivotal moments.
Joshua, have you had a chance to talk to Mrs. Calvert?
You know, I have not. I frequently talk about her in these kind of introductions, but I think I need to hunt her down. I know she's still in Portland Public Schools, working at the district level there, but no, I haven't followed up to let her know that. Because that's the other thing. Like, I think often as educators, we may not know in whose life we're making that difference. I don't know that she knows that she was that person for me. And yeah, I appreciate the nudge, because I'm going to follow up with her to make sure that she does know that if not for her, I may not be here.
Yeah, excellent. So tell us a little bit about your day job now and Gear Up, director of this huge, massive program benefiting a lot of young people in the Anaheim Union High School District.
Absolutely. So Gear Up, our mission at the end of the day is to promote post-secondary success, particularly for underrepresented students, students from low-income backgrounds, students of color. Students will be the first in their family to enroll in college. I talk about our mission on the whole as working to ensure that students' life circumstances don't get in the way of students achieving their potential. And so what that means on a day-to-day basis, right? Like, we're working with 2 cohorts of students. We've got 2 grants at Cal State Fullerton. We've had Gear Up at Cal State Fullerton since it was first enacted in the Higher Education Act, federally funded back in 1998. Right now, we've got 2 cohorts, one who are the class of 2024 at 3 of the high schools in Anaheim Union, and then we've got a class of 2021 at 3 of the high schools in Anaheim Union. And we work with them. We start in the 7th grade and we follow them through. And that cohort model is unique to Gear Up. And I think it speaks to and enables some of the deeper, more critical aspects of our mission, which is to build sustainable partnerships and to affect systemic change that we're working to try to identify where might there be gaps in the system, where might there be spaces and places where students are slipping through the cracks, and how might we be able to create systemic solutions that might outlast Gear Up. So every time we get a Gear Up fund, we know that we've got an expiration date on that Gear Up program. For the class of 2021, we know that we're done at that point. And so I often talk about our mission as not just being about increasing the success for the lucky cohort that got to be in Gear Up, but it's about not just the class of 2021, but class of 2022. How are they better off because of the partnerships, because of the collaborations, because of the programs that Gear Up has been able to support? And what's that longer term ripple effect, that longer term impact for Gear Up? So at the end of the day, if we're doing our job, we've got more students who are in Gear Up who are able to achieve their potential, who have access to post-secondary education, who have a better idea about their career of passion and purpose. And we're also kind of paving the road so it'll be a little less bumpy for the students that are coming behind the Gear Up cohorts.
Thank you for that thumbnail overview of Gear Up, but our audience really needs to understand that we are so lucky to have this partnership. These are $5 to $6 million grants for each of the cohorts, and Anaheim Union is, I think, one of the few in Orange County, the few districts to have this longstanding partnership with a Gear Up program based in a major university. And the audience really needs to know a little bit about what we've been able to do. We've been able to innovate and move forward. So Joshua, can you tell us a little bit about Gear Up's participation in some of our innovation?
Sure. I think there might be three kind of top level long-term successes that I would highlight, like testaments to the work and the power of the partnerships that are supported through Gear Up. One, I was just on a call the other day looking at how do we take it to the next level, but AIM, the Anaheim Innovative Mentoring Experience that started years ago with Kaiser Permanente. They were educating me about P21, right? Like trying to figure out how can we, and this is kind of an epitome of Gear Up, piloting a smaller project, working out the kinks, seeing what's there, what potential is there, and then working to build capacity so that it can continue on after Gear Up. And now, of course, as you know, AIM has exploded, both in terms of the opportunities that it's providing to students, but also in some of the embedded, like the philosophical maybe orientation to education in the district as we're thinking about career readiness and that being a pathway to talking about post-secondary success. Another one is our family engagement, the family and community engagement specialist at the district that began with Gear Up and the parent involvement and the parent guardian engagement efforts through Gear Up, and the coordinator model for Gear Up created kind of the template for providing a family and community engagement specialist. And so now throughout AUHSD, every school has a FACES, what's called a FACES, and that can trace its roots back to Gear Up. The last one I would hit on would be the college and career access teams, which really, I think, create the core of the Anaheim Collaborative, bringing together partnerships with UCI, with the North Orange County Community College District, Fullerton and Cypress, with Cal State Fullerton at the table, and all of the partner programs. Because I think when we talk about these educational access programs, there's a very real tendency for those programs and the schools to be working in silos, and each program is working with their particular cohort of students, the lucky ones that apply to that program, and there's not a real culture of collaboration without this kind of an intentional space for the partners and the school site leadership to come together and talk about how do we stretch these dollars as far as we can, how do we make sure, again, that we're broadening the impact of the work that we're doing, and how do we do that in a systemized way that will outlast, again, the Gear Up model. And so we did that with the grant structure. We did that at the three Gear Up schools, and again, modeled that as a best practice. And now every school in Anaheim has a college and career access team that regularly meets to strategize and figure out how do we build strategic partnerships to maximize our impact for students.
Wow, that's a mouthful, but amazing collaboration. I've heard a lot about this partnership between Cal State Fullerton, Gear Up, and AUHSD. You have a lot of colleagues nationally and regionally, because sometimes it's hard when you tell that story to our internal people. They just kind of take it for granted. But how unique is this partnership? And because I really I think it's pretty unique. It's very difficult work to bring all the stakeholders together. But nationally, how unique would you say this is?
One of a kind. And that perspective, I think, is shaped even back in my earliest days when I was at Cal State Fullerton as the director of educational talent search up until about a year ago when I came over to work with Gear Up. Going to those college and career access team meetings, as you say, I kind of took it for granted until I went to my first national conference. And that's one of the benefits of the TRIO programs, of the Gear Up programs, is that because they're federally funded, there's these national organizations, national associations that bring together practitioners from programs throughout the country to talk about common challenges, to talk about best practices and strategies that are working and that are not. And I still remember my very first COE conference, Council on Opportunity in Education, which is the national organization for TRIO. And the same was true when I went to my very first INSEP conference, the Educational Partnerships and Gear Up national organization. I was astounded at the very different experiences that directors are talking about, that the coordinators are talking about in terms of their hurdles are often systematic in terms of building that partnership and building authentic collaborative spaces with site leadership, with district leadership. And those are just quite honestly not problems that we've got in Anaheim. And I think that it takes going outside to see the uniqueness, and I think the significance of that, because it allows us to do so much more when we're not worried about building the foundation. We've got a strong foundation. We've got honest and genuine collaboration that allows us to think critically about deeper problems, deeper opportunities, bigger opportunities to figure out, how do we spend our money? How do we spin our wheels in ways that are going to impact students instead of trying to build relationships with each other?
Right. Yeah, challenging work and building relationships. You mentioned that one of the innovative practices that Gear Up has helped, fund from initially was the college and career access teams. People often use that term college and career as if it's the same thing. How would do you differentiate between the two, and what does that mean, college and career?
Yeah, I think historically, typically, or traditionally, I think when we think about college and career, often college gets the lion's share of the attention of the strategizing. We're talking about A through G. We're talking about the college entrance exams. We're talking about what is it going to take to prepare students to be competitive applicants for colleges. I think when we're being more holistic in our understanding of college and career, when we're being more honest with that language about college and career, I really think it is about kind of backing into the college conversation, starting from a place of students' interests, of students' passions, of students' purpose. Again, I talk about two kind of jobs. There's a kind of job where you wake up in the morning and you have to go to work. There's another kind of job, the kind of job that I have, the kind of job that I dream of for all of our students, that they wake up in the morning and they get to go to work. And so I think it's important that we kind of front load that conversation, that we enter that conversation with students about life after high school, about what it means to be grown and to pay bills and to go to work every day, to front load that with what do you want to do to pay bills? How would you like to be able to pay bills? What do you love doing? And then let's figure out a way to get you paid for it. What's the job? What's the career that would allow you to be able to do that? And then what kind of educational preparation do you need to be able to do that? And I think by and large, 95% of the time, college is going to be one of those things that most of us are going to have to do to be able to do that thing we want to do. But I think if we start with careers, we're going to have more purposeful, more motivated, more directed initiatives and outcomes at the end of the day. That's going to set students up for longer term persistence and longer term success when we think about what post-secondary success really means. You're muted there.
Thank you, Joshua. In the short time we've had together, I really, when you get and reach your teacher from high school, give her thank you from me too, because we are grateful to her for pushing you, and so that you can get to go to work as the director of Gear Up. We're so blessed to have you as someone who has compassion, someone who has a lived experience, someone who really connects with our student population. So on behalf of the district, thank you, Joshua Bilbrew.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will find her and pass that along with my own gratitude. But I really appreciate the opportunity, because it's a dream that I get paid to do this. Like this is a dream. So thank you.